gentle morning was spreading through the busy lanes of Dhaka city. Magistrate Lamia Khan was sitting in a simple rickshaw heading towards Newmarket. She was wearing a light red sari. Her hair was covered with a scarf. Looking at her, no one could guess that she was an influential magistrate of the Dhaka District Court. Today she was only a mother, whose only daughter Sadia was getting married in just 2 weeks. In her hand was a small piece of paper with a list of jewelry written on it, which she and her husband had prepared the night before. Getting down from the rickshaw, Lamia slowly walked towards Swarnalata Jewelers. This was the oldest and most reputed jewelry shop in Old Dhaka. The business had been run by 3 generations of men. The current owner, Karimuddin, was known as a clever businessman. In front of the shop, large glass showcases displayed glittering jewelry. As soon as Lamia entered the shop, the cool air from the AC gave her comfort. Inside, there were quite a few customers. A young salesman sitting at the counter looked at her and casually asked, "Appa, what would you like to see?" Lamia politely replied, "Brother, it's my daughter's wedding. Please show me some heavy sets. The budget is fairly good." The salesman Ajar looked her up and down once. Simple clothes, no expensive jewelry. An old bag in her hand. He thought to himself, maybe she won't buy much. Ajar unwillingly brought out a few medium-quality sets. Lamia began to look at them one by one. She carefully examined each piece in her hands. "This design seems a little old. Do you have something more modern?" she asked. Ajar, a bit irritated, said, "These are good enough. To see better ones, the price will be much higher." Lamia calmly replied, "We can talk about the price later. First, let me see what I like." For the next half hour, Lamia kept looking at one set after another. Sometimes the necklace felt too light. Sometimes she didn't like the design of the earrings. Slowly, more customers began to enter the shop. Karimuddin came out of his cabin and saw a woman keeping the salesman occupied for a long time. He stepped forward and said harshly, "What's the problem, madam? You don't like anything?" Lamia looked at him and said, "I'm looking for the best for my daughter." "That will take some time." Annoyance showed on Karimuddin's face. "Look, this is a busy shop. If you want to buy, fine. Otherwise—" Before he could finish, Lamia firmly said, "I will buy. But before that, I'll check properly." Finally, after almost an hour, Lamia liked a magnificent bridal set. Made of 22-karat gold, the necklace had intricate craftsmanship, with matching earrings, bangles, and a tikli. The price of the set was 3.5 lakh taka. Lamia happily said, "I'll take this one. Please pack it." Karimuddin was a little shocked. He had not expected that this ordinary-looking woman would buy such an expensive set. Azar took the set to the packing room. Lamia sat at the counter waiting. Meanwhile, she opened her bag and began counting the money. After 10 minutes, Ajar returned with a red velvet box. "Here, madam, your set." Lamia wanted to open the box and check once more. "No need to open it. Everything is fine," Karimuddin quickly said. But Lamia firmly replied, "No, I want to see it once." Reluctantly, Azar opened the box. Lamia looked at the jewelry and frowned. Something was not right. She picked up the necklace and examined it carefully. Her suspicion was correct. "This is not the set I chose." Lamia's voice carried both surprise and anger. "Look, the design is different. Even the weight feels less." Karimuddin stepped forward and said, "What are you saying, madam?" "This is exactly what you chose." Lamia spoke firmly. "No, this is not it." "The one I saw had a big emerald in the center of the necklace. This one doesn't." Azar laughed and said, "Appa, you saw it wrong. There was no emerald." "Are you blind?" This insulting comment broke Lamia's patience. "I am not blind. I clearly saw what I chose." "You switched it during packin'." Her voice was now raised. Other customers in the shop began to look at them. Karimuddin, now angry, said, "Look, madam, this is my 50-year-old shop. I never cheat anyone. People like you come now and then to make trouble." These words hurt Lamia's dignity. "People like me? What do you mean by that?" "I am a customer. I have the right to get the correct item for my money." Yes, nowadays everyone talks about rights. Go buy from somewhere else, don't make trouble here." Lamia began to shake with anger. "I am not making trouble. You are cheating. Either give me the correct set, or return my money." "Return money?" Karimuddin laughed loudly. "You haven't even paid yet. And even if you had, you wouldn't get it back. That's the rule." Then Ajar added from the side, "Appa, don't overact, otherwise we'll call the police." Lamia gave him a sharp look. "Police? Good. Call them. Let's see who is right and who is wrong." Karimuddin took out his mobile and dialed a number. "Hello, Ramna Police Station? This is Swarnalata Jewelers. A woman is creating chaos here. She has stopped the shop's work. Send someone quickly," hanging up. He looked at Lamia and said, "Now let's see what happens to your rights." Lamia calmly pulled a chair and sat down. There was no fear in her mind. She knew she was right. The crowd in the shop had grown even more. Everyone was whispering, "Who is this woman? Looks like a quarrelsome type. Let's see what the police do." After 15 minutes, a police van stopped in front of the shop. Sub-Inspector Yasimuddin and 2 constables entered. Karimuddin rushed to Jasim, whispered something in his ear, and slipped a few notes from his pocket into his hand. A crooked smile appeared on Jasim's face. He walked up to Lamia and said harshly, "Who are you? Why are you creating trouble here?" Lamia stood up and said in a calm voice, "I am Lamia Khan. I am a customer. They have cheated me." Jasim laughed and said, "Lamia Khan? So what? Even if you were Queen Elizabeth, you can't create a ruckus in a shop." Lamia took a deep breath, said, "I am Magistrate Lamia Khan, Dhaka District Court." Jasim interrupted her words halfway. "Magistrate, and I am the Prime Minister. Let's go to the police station. There, everything will be explained." A constable stepped forward to hold Lamia's hand. Lamia scolded and said, "Remove your hand." But at Jasim's signal, 2 constables forcibly held Lamia's 2 hands and started dragging her away. The people present in the shop were enjoying the show. Someone was recording video on mobile. Karimuddin was laughing victoriously. Lamia was almost forcibly dragged and put into the police van. Reaching Ramna Police Station, Jasim shouted loudly, "This woman is claiming herself as a magistrate. She went to the shop and created trouble." Duty Officer S.I. Masood Rana looked once at Lamia, then said, "Put her in lockup. Later we will see." Lamia made a last attempt. "Please verify my identity. I really—" "Shut up," Jasim roared. Enough drama has happened. Lamia was put into the women's lockup. There were 2 or 3 more women prisoners. In the stinking environment of the lockup, Lamia's breath was getting tight. She was thinking, how did this happen? The very law system where she gives judgment today is behaving like this with her. Meanwhile, outside the police station, O.C. Rafiqul Islam had gone to drink tea. Coming back, he was checking the duty register. Suddenly his eyes fell on the new entry. Lamia Khan woman, shop quarrel. Seeing the name, something struck in his mind. He called Masood. "This Lamia Khan?" Masood said, "Sir, Jasim brought her." He was saying, "She is claiming herself magistrate." Rafiqul's face became pale. He almost ran toward the lockup. Across the iron bars, seeing Lamia, his hands and feet became cold. This is truly Magistrate Lamia Khan. Just last week she appeared in front of him, in a case. "Quickly open the door." Rafiqul shouted. Constable, trembling in fear, opened the lock. Rafiqul stood at the lockup door and saluted countless times. "Madam, forgive me, a very big mistake has happened. I did not know." Lamia slowly came out, her face calm, but in her eyes storm was flowing. "Oh, see, sir, is the behavior that your subordinates did with an ordinary citizen correct?" Lamia's question was sharp. Rofikul started sweating. "Madam, they did not know, did not know." Lamia cut his words. "A woman is saying she has been deceived and your men arrest her without even listening." In the meantime, Jassim and Masood also arrived. Seeing Lamia, their faces turned white. Jassim folded hands and said, "Madam, mistake has happened. Please forgive." Lamia, in cold voice, said, "Sai Jassim Uddin, you took bribe and harassed an innocent citizen. For this you are suspended. Madam, my family, children are there." Jassim started crying. But Lamia remained unmoved. "When you were taking bribe, did you remember family?" She looked at Rofikul. "Prepare suspension order immediately, and tomorrow morning send team to arrest Karimuddin." Next morning at dawn, police team raided Swarnalata Jewelers. In search came out countless fake receipts, underweight ornaments, and false certificates. Karimuddin was arrested. Along with him, Ajur also. Inside the shop was found another secret chamber where instead of real ornaments, duplicate sets were kept to deliver fake. In investigation, it further came out that Karim Uddin was close to local MP Saiful Islam Chowdhury. For many years, the money he earned by cheating customers, a big part of that used to go into the MP's pocket, and in return he got protection. But this time his luck had gone bad. He had fallen into the hands of someone who does not value anything above the law. On Sadia's wedding day, when Lamia was dressing her daughter, then Sadia said, "Mom, did you buy the jewelry from that shop?" Lamia smiled and said, "No, dear, from another place, even more beautiful." Sadia, holding her mother's hand, said, "I heard that you—" "Nothing to hear. Today you will be a bride. Do not think about all this." But Sadia knew her mother is not only a magistrate, but a brave woman who knows how to stand against injustice. In the wedding ceremony, when bride Sadia was sitting on the stage, then among the guests whispering was going on. Everyone knew about Magistrate Lamia's brave work, how she alone broke an entire cycle of corruption. But the story does not end here. Even though MP Saiful Islam Chowdhury and Karimuddin went to jail, their men were outside. They started giving threatening phone calls for revenge. On Sadia's wedding day in the evening, when the groom's procession had arrived and the ceremony was in full swing, suddenly a few motorcycles stopped in front of the wedding house. 10, 12 masked men jumped down. Their leader Rashid, nephew of Karimuddin, shouted, "Stop this wedding!" Sadia's father, Dr. Khan, took 30 lakh taka from us and did it return. The entire pandal became silent. The wedding guests were stunned. Sadia, sitting on the stage, started crying. Dr. Khan stepped forward and said, "This is a completely false allegation. I never—" Rashid pushed him down. "Shut up. Look at these papers." He started showing some fake documents. From groom's family, someone said, "What is happening? We did not know." Rashid turned to them and said, "Now you know, this family being corrupt, magistrate traps, people in themselves eat the money." Lamia then came out from the inner room. In her eyes fire was burning, but in her voice was ice cold. "Rashid, right? Karimuddin's nephew. What your uncle could not do, you came to do?" Rashid stepped back a little. He did not know Lamia is so brave. "Listen," Lamia moved forward. "Your fake papers, your drama, nothing will work. I know this is revenge." He took the mobile out from his pocket. "Right now Rab is coming. There will be a case against all of you." But Rashid laughed. "Let Rab come. By then we will finish what we came to do." As soon as he signaled, his men started moving towards the pandal. A few guests ran away in fear. Just then, with sirens blaring, 3 RAB cars stopped. Lamia was already alert. She knew there could be an attempt of revenge. RAB members quickly got down and surrounded the thugs. "Drop your weapons. Hands up." Rashid tried to escape but was caught. One RAB officer came to Lamia and said, "Madam, we reached at the right time." Lamia with gratitude said, "Thank you, arrest all of them." After the whole gang was arrested, the wedding ceremony started again. Lamia went to the groom's family and said, "I am sorry, such an incident happened, but I hope you understand this is not our fault." The groom's father said, "We understand you are a brave mother. Sadia surely is also brave like you." The marriage was completed, but this incident proved again how deep the roots of corruption are. Next day in newspapers, big headline was printed: "Attack attempt at magistrate's daughter's wedding failed." Rashid and his gang got long-term jail. Against Member of Parliament Saiful Islam Chowdhury, also more cases were filed. Slowly, the entire corruption network collapsed. At the end of the ceremony during farewell, Sadia hugged her mother and said, "Mom, I want to be like you. May Allah give me the courage to stand for truth in any situation." Friends, this story is created only for entertainment and education. Characters, events, and dialogues are completely fictional. It has no relation with any real person or incident. Enjoy the story. It is not our intention to hurt anyone's feelings. If you like this story, then please like it and share it with as many people as possible. In comment, tell which part of the story you liked most. Subscribe our channel. Thank you.